Probably Dolly made me a towel bag. No, yep. Hi, Shelley. Come away.
Oh, no, I did, yeah.
Susan, are we on? Susan, are we on? Page 128. Ine matou manai, shevet achim gam yavad. Ine matou manai, shevet achim gam yavad. Ine matou, shevet achim gam yavad. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
I'm Rabbi Michael Feshbeck, and you are the choir. And to you who are joining us online and on Facebook, please sing at home. We can't hear you, but please feel free to sing as we come together for a joyous Shabbat. We open with the Psalms that traditionally begin Kabbalat Shabbat, Psalm 95 and Psalm 96, pages 130 and 131. Lechuna Radana and Shiru Ladonai. Come, let us sing joyously to Adonai, sing unto God a new song. Lechuna Radana Shiru l'Adonai, Shiru Shir Chadash, Shiru l'Adonai, Kol haaretz, Shiru l'Adonai, Shiru Shir Chadash, Shiru l'Adonai, Kol haaretz, Shiru l'Adonai, Baruch Shemo, Basru miyom liyom, Yeshuato, Shiru l'Adonai, Baruch Shemo, Basru miyom liyom, Yeshuato, Lechu meranena, Lechu meranena, Lechu meranena, Adonai, Lechu meranena, Lechu meranena, Lechu meranena, Adonai. The Chadoti, pages 138 and 139, stanzas 1, 2, 5, and 9. Lecha lecha doti, likrat likrat kala, v'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha lecha doti, likrat likrat kala, v'nei Shabbat nekabela. Sham or v'zachor b'diborecha, Hishmi'anu el hamiuchad, Adonai L'shem u'tiferet v'liti la 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 chadoti, likrat likrat kala, p'nei shenei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha lecha doti, likrat likrat kala, p'nei shenei Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha, ki hi mekor habracha, merosh miketem nesucha, sof ma'aseh v'machshava tchila la 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 lecha doti, likrat likrat kala, p'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha lecha doti, likrat likrat kala, p'nei Shabbat nekabela. It'orari, ki v'amorech umi uri, uri uri shir daveri, kevod Adonai alai, nikla la 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 lecha doti, likrat likrat kala, p'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha lecha doti, likrat likrat kala, p'nei Shabbat nekabela. Hoi v'shalom ateret ba'ala, gam v'simcha u'v'zola, tochen le'am tzivula, boi chala, la 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 lecha doti, likrat likrat kala, p'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha lecha doti, likrat likrat kala, p'nei Shabbat nekabela. And on 142, the most, at least in North America, the most well-known version, I don't know that if that's for sure, but the version that I think of as the sort of base go-to of Shalom Aleichem. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Asharet, Malachei Elyon, Melech, Malachei HaMalachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Olechem Shalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei page 145. Teach me, O God, a blessing, a prayer, on the mystery of a withered leaf, on ripened fruit so fair, on the freedom to see, to sense, to breathe, to know, to hope, to despair. Teach my lips a blessing, a hymn of praise, as each morning and night you renew your days. Bless my day be today, as one before. Bless routines that my ways. Page 144, we rise, we face these. Yitkada, v'yitkada, shmei Rabban, v'yalmat yivrach cherutei, v'yamlik malchutei, v'chayei chonu v'yomecho, u'chayei lechol beit Yisrael, v'agala, v'agala, u'vizman karim, v'imeu. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidvaro ma'ariv ha'ravim, v'chokhma poteach sha'arim, u'v'tvuna meshaneh hitim, u'machalif et hazmanim, u'misader et ha'kochavim, u'mishmerotehem barakia kertzono, borei yom v'layla, olel or mipnei choshech, v'choshech mipnei or. ומעביר יום ומביא לילה, ומבדיל בין יום ובין לילה, אדוני צבאות שמו, חי וקיים. עולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני, המעריב. 151. As you taught Torah to those whose names I bear, teach me Torah too. Its mystery beckons, yet I struggle with its truth. You meant Torah for me. Did you mean the struggle for me too? Don't let me struggle alone. Help me understand, to be wise, to listen, to know. Lead me into the mystery. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amos. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבבך, ושיננתם לבניך בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך 159, then back to 158. Sing the song of men and women, joined in understanding and respect. The song of God's miracles, and earth protected and cherished. A gift for our children and the generations to come. The song was ravished by war, now quiet and content. Her soldiers home to leave no more. The song of a world redeemed. The song of peace. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha nehedar b'kodesh, noga tehilot osei feler, noga tehilot osei feler, malchutecha ahuva lecha, bokei hayam lifnei Moshe u'Miriam, ze'elianu ve'amru, Adonai lo, Adonai lo, le'olam va'ed. Amar kifat Adonai et Yaakov, u'galo me'ad chazak mimenu, baruch atah Adonai, Ga'al Yisrael. 160 on the bottom. Grant, O God, that we lie down in peace, and raise us up, our guardian, to life renewed. Spread over us the shelter of your peace. Guide us with your good counsel. For your name's sake, be our help. Shield and shelter us beneath the shadow of your wings. Defend us against enemies, illness, war, famine, and sorrow. Distance us from wrongdoing. For you, God, watch over us and deliver us. For you, God, are gracious and merciful. Guard our coming and going, to life and to peace evermore. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom aleinu, ve'al kol amo Yisrael. Amen. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et hashabat lasot et hashabat le'torah. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et hashabat lasot et hashabat le'torah olam. Beini uvein b'nei Yisrael, oti le'olam, oti le'olam. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et hashabat lasot et hashabat le'torah olam. Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai, et hashamayim ve'et haaretz. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et hashabat lasot et hashabat le'torah olam. Uvayom hashvi shavat v'yinafash, shavat v'yinafash, shavat v'yinafash. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et hashabat lasot et hashabat le'torah olam. I share this with you by means of historical perspective, and I am probably going to use this again at the High Holy Days. When Julie and I were at a conference in New York at the end of May, we heard a talk by Rabbi David Wolpe. I just posted part of a written version of this on my Facebook page yesterday. But this anecdote was not in it. He was on the task force for anti-Semitism at Harvard. He was against it, by the way. And he resigned in November out of frustration. His full report is worth reading. And as I said, it is posted on my Facebook page as of a few days ago. But he shared with us that he was once on a panel discussing what's going on in the Jewish world now and the current situation. And the panelists, there were 4 of them, were asked, what gives you hope? And unfortunately, Rabbi Wolpe said that he was number 4 to answer. The first 3 said, oh, looking out at all of these wonderful, engaged young people. Well, he couldn't say that. He's 3 people have said it before him. So he had to come up with something else. So this is what he said. He said he imagines a conversation with his Zaidi, with his grandfather. And he said, Zaidi, there's anti-Semitism at Harvard. And his grandfather said, there's Jews at Harvard. And Rabbi Wolpe said, yes, but a lot of them don't like Israel. And his grandfather said, there's an Israel? So I just, for the midst of despair, for the current moment, a moment of perspective, and then we read the paragraph on the top of 163. We are a people in whom the past endures, in whom the present is inconceivable without moments gone by. The Exodus lasted a moment enduring forever. What happened once upon a time happens all the time. The Amidah, the Tefillah, beginning on page 164. Adonai sefatai tiftach ufia hiteti latecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzhak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, El Hagadol, Hagibor, V'Hanorah, El Elyon, Gomer Chasadim Tovim, V'Koneh Ha'od, V'Zocher Kasdei Avot V'Imahot, U'Mevi Lula Livnei Pneihem, L'Ma'an Shemo B'Ahava, Melech Ozer Moshia U'Magin, Baruch atah Adonai, Magin Avraham, V'Ezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechaei Hakol, Atah Rav L'Hoshia, Mo'id Atah, Mechakel Ba'im B'Chesed, Mechaei Hakol B'Rachamim Rabim, Somech V'Rofei Cholim, U'Mazir Asurim, U'Mekayem Emunato, L'Shenei Afar, Michamocha Ba'Gevurot, U'Midon Elav, Melech Benit U'Mechayeh, U'Masmiach Yeshua, B'Ne'eman atah l'chayot ha'kol. Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayeh ha'kol. Atah kadosh, v'shimcha kadosh, kadoshim b'chol yom ya'aloch ha'selah. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el ha'kadosh. Personal prayer. seated. Ohose Shalom Niroma. Uyase Shalom Aleinu. Ve'al Yisrael. Ve'imru. Amen. Yase Shalom. Yase Shalom. Shalom Aleinu. Ve'al Yisrael. Yase Shalom. Yase Shalom. Shalom Aleinu. Ve'al kol Yisrael. A long time ago, I had the idea of going into business, producing ties that could be worn on the occasion of a certain parsha, a certain Torah portion. I was going to call it Torah ties, and then I realized there were a lot of benot mitzvah to do sedra scarves or something for girls. But the iconic image of each week's portion would come forward, and somehow, but there's no doubt, there's no debate, there's no discussion about what the iconic image of this week's portion is. This is the story, well, Bennett will tell you. What is this portion? This is his?
This was my daughter's bar mitzvah portion, bar mitzvah portion, 31 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
We won't tell her that you said how many years ago it was. This is Parshat Shlach Lecha. It's interesting. I can only think of two portions that have the Lecha word after it. Lech Lecha, when Abraham goes forth, and Shlach Lecha, when Moses sends forth the spies. This is the story of espionage. This is the story of differing reports over intelligence and how to analyze it. It was really a popular portion right before the Iraq War. And the term Lecha isn't really needed in either case. Lech Lecha, go forth, but maybe Lecha means like for your own sake. And here too, Shlach Lecha, send forth. You need to know what's ahead. God already knows what's ahead. But then the spies come back. The part that I will read today is just Moses sending them forward from Numbers chapter 13. We're going to read the first 3 verses. Then I'm skipping to verse 17 because it's just a long list of names and of those who are sent out. You know 2 of them. You know the name Joshua. You know the name Caleb. And there is an intelligence dispute between the 2. But first I'll get to the iconic image because Moses says at the end of the part that I will be reading tonight, bring forth a sample of fruit from the land. And it was grape season. And so, to this day, the symbol of the Israeli Ministry of Tourism is that image which was long ago printed on coins from the land of Israel, and then now Israeli coins as well, some have it, of the grapes that were so big that what?
2 people.
It took 2 people to carry there's a word for it, in hood, I think, in but whenever it is in Hebrew, there's the stick on which they were carrying, and it was so heavy that it would take 2 people to bear these huge grapes. You know, the cluster of grapes carried by 2 people, that is the symbol of the Israeli Ministry of Tourism, and that is what would have been proudly displayed on the tie that I would have created for Torah ties. But that's not the point. This is one of these episodes. This is the end of the first period of the wandering in the wilderness. And after this, really they're going to flash forward for 38 years. Because here they have reached the outskirts of the land. They are sending spies into the land. And based on what happens, God says, you're not ready. We are going to delay. You're going to wander in the wilderness. until everyone who has come out of Egypt except for Joshua and Caleb has passed away. Because Joshua and Caleb were the two spies who said, we can do this. But the others said, the 10. And interestingly enough, this is the first time that the word Edah, which means community, is associated with a group of people giving a report. And how many was that in the group? 10. Which leads to the concept of 10 to form an Edah. Even though this was an Edah, a community to do bad things. So the concept of a minyan may come from here. Either that or we already had the custom of 10 counting in a minyan, and they were just looking for biblical roots for 10 for something. But what was their sin? That they didn't feel, this was an honest report based on their own impressions. There were giants in the land. There were fortified cities. What did they do that was so wrong?
No faith?
Well, in theory, it's like God was going to fight for them and no faith. That's right.
They want to go back to Egypt.
They in fact said, at this, let's go back to Egypt. But they've said that other times. God doesn't threaten to annihilate them every time they whine. We'd have a problem.
Yeah, that's right.
Right? There's a lot of wine in the desert, and I don't mean this kind.
Yeah, particularly numbers, right?
Particularly the book of Numbers, exactly. That's exactly right. And so, the rabbis look to the specific wording. And the wording was, we seemed in comparison to the giants of the land. We seemed like grasshoppers to ourselves, and so we must have appeared to them. You can debate which one is the sin here. But it seems to me that we have very little control over how other people see us. The problem here is that they seemed like grasshoppers to themselves. To do great things, you need to believe that you can do great things. To hear the Torah, to have a vision, you need to be able to hear. You need to trust that you're able to see. You can't say you feel like grasshoppers to yourselves, even if you can't control that you might appear that way to others. We continue with the service for the reading of Torah, page 362. We ask Bennett and Jeanette to help with the ark doors and give the honor of carrying the Torah to the newest Jew in the room, to Janet, who completed her conversion last week. Page 362. And 1 second, we'll rise only in a second. Ein kamocha v'Elohim Adonai, ve'ein kema'asecha, malchutecha malchut kol olamim, u'memshaltecha bechol dor v'dor. Adonai melech, Adonai malach, Adonai imloch le'olam va'ed, Adonai oz Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonai, Kadosh Shemo, Gadol Adonai Iti, U'Merolam Shemo Yachdav, Lecha Adonai HaGedula, VeHaGevura, VeHaTiferet, VeHaNetzach, VeHaHod, Ki Chol Hashamayim U'Va'aretz, Ki Chol Hashamayim U'Va'aretz, Lecha Adonai HaMamlacha, V'mitnaseh lechol erosh. Romenu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu lehar kodsho. Romenu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu lehar kodsho. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu Romenu. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu Romenu. Romenu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu lehar kodsho. Please be seated. Doesn't always work, but I'd like to have the last note sung with just as the sound of the Ya'amod La'aliyah HaRishonah Ya'amod Shimon ben Reuven Lichvod HaTorah. For the honor of the Aliyah, for this portion, Shlach Lecha Stephen Katz recently returned from spying out the land himself.
Baruch Adonai HaMorah.
Baruch Adonai HaMorah Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai HaRom Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Halim Asher Ha'magbanu Mikol Hanim B'nei Latu Atorah B'nei Ahara.
Baruch Atah Adonai Notei HaTorah. Amen. Vaydaber Adonai el Moshe lemor, and God spoke to Moses, saying, Shlach lecha anashim vayaturu et eretz Kna'an asher ani noten livnei Yisrael, ish echad lematei avotav tishlachu kol nesi'ei vahem. Send out men to spy out. Interesting, the word is tour, so go on a tour of the land of Canaan, which I am giving to the Israelites. One person each from the head of each of your ancestral clans you shall send out. Kol nesi'ei, every well-known person. Vayishlach otam Moshe mimidbar Paran, and Moses sent them from the wilderness Paran. Al pi Adonai kulam anashim roshei v'nei Yisrael hema. At the instance of Adonai, Moses sent out the heads of the Israelites. This is who they were, and then it lists the names, which I will skip for the moment, although I'll probably make Jeanette read them tomorrow morning out loud, just to have her pronounce the names. Just kidding, I can do the names. Or we can skip the names tomorrow morning. See, I was saying that in order to find the place where I was skipping. Verse 17. Vayishlach otam Moshe latur et eretz Canaan. And Moses sent them out to tour, to spy on the land of Canaan. Vayomer Alehem, and he said to them, Alu zev negev, valitem et tahar, go down into the valley and go up onto the mountain country. Uleitem et haaretz, and see the land. Mahu, what is it like? V'im hayam hayoshev aleha hachazak hu harafeh, and the people who dwells there, are they strong or are they weak? Hamat hu imrav, are they numerous or few? Umahaaretz asher hu yoshev ba hatova hi imra'ah, and the land that they dwell upon, is it a good land or a bad one? Uma he'arim asher hu yoshev bahena, and the land that they dwell upon, ha-b'machanim im b'mivtzarim, is it laid out in camps or is it fortified? Uma ha'aretz hashmenahi im razah, and the land, is it shmena, fat? Is it plentiful or the opposite of plentiful, razah, thin, barren? This would be the pine barrens, would be the right. Hayesh ba eitz im ein, is there fruit? Is it a fruit country or not? V'yitchazaktem u'lekachtem mipri haaretz, and you shall be sure to bring back a sample of the fruit. Vayamim yemei b'korei anavim, and it was the season of the harvest of the grapes.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan leinu Torah amir, v'heyam lam hata leontanu. Baruch atah Adonai noteh la Torah.
Amen. And stay nearby. Mishaberach Avotenu Avraham Yitzchak v'Yaakov v'imotenu Sarah Rivka Rachel v'Leah v'yivarech v'yirapeh et hacholim ha'ela. God who blessed our ancestors Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebekah, Rachel, and Leah, send your blessing and healing, your comfort and hope to the following of our friends: Cynthia Baylor, David Wetzel, Sonia Kaplan, Rabbi Bradley Bliefeld, Jill Wood, Matt Vandershear, Reuven Shimon, HaKohen Ben Sharon. Other names in the prayer for healing.
Antoinette and her family, Antoinette Hamishente.
It's kind of.
And Toll Bosser and Bruce Clayton.
Gerald and Miriam Tanton, John Russell,
Amber Durazio.
Joel Chambers, Susan Gallagher,
Martin Barry, Orlean Jr. Lisa and Margaret.
Hot start, like you said.
Baruch atah Adonai Rafeh Cholim, we praise you, O God, who helps us heal, who brings us comfort. As we lift the Sefer Torah, and I'm going to give it to you in a minute. Please rise. V'zot HaTorah asher sam Moshe lifnei b'nei Yisrael al pi Adonai b'yad Moshe al shlosha devarim, al shlosha devarim, al shlosha devarim ha'olam oleh. Al shlosha devarim, lower a little. Al shlosha devarim, al shlosha devarim ha'olam oleh. Al haTorah ve'al ha'avodah ve'al gemilut chesed v'joy. Al haTorah ve'al ha'avodah ve'al gemilut chasadim. Medium height person next time. Page 374. Yahalalu et Shem Adonai, ki niskav shemo levado, hodo al eretz v'shayim, vayaret le'amo, tevilah Living Israel, Am Kevodo. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Stephen, yes, please be seated, except for Stephen. Anything to share about your trip?
Well, first of all, I want to thank the rabbi for ensuring I had a safe trip. He gave me some tzedakah before I left. He told me about the tradition. And I kind of, be honest with you, forgot about it until the last day I was in Tel Aviv. And I was in the Carmel market, and unfortunately there was a beggar with no legs. And I said, well, this is it. This is my opportunity. He got a little more than you gave me, though.
Interest grows,
Yeah,
right?
I had the pleasure and joy of doing, I was in Israel for 9 days. 5 days was doing a volunteer stint with SAR-L. I'm not sure if you're familiar with the organization, wonderful organization. They provide volunteer services on a military basis. And so in a nutshell, we met at the airport and they divided us up in groups, and I was with 6 other women, 5 men, and we got sent to this top secret base, base 559, in the middle of the Negev. And it was, to be honest with you, it was a little more F troop than special ops down over there. It was basically a base that was involved in maintaining trucks and trailers to transport tanks. So we were approximately 20 miles or so from Gaza, so on a very regular basis we heard explosions. I mean, a day didn't go by we didn't hear quite a few. We were never in any danger. They had, rocket fallout shelters. There was never any kind of rocket signal. And basically we just lived there for 5 days and we worked. We did manual labor. We stacked things and inventory things and cleaned up sheds. And it was almost like being in camp again. We went in a dormitory. It was very Spartan. You get very close to the people you're with because you're working with them all the time. There were people from Australia, South Africa, New Zealand, Canada, and there were actually 3 non-Jewish people who just wanted to go to Israel and show support. So it was an extremely rewarding experience. I'd like to think in some infinitesimal way I did something. Obviously infinitesimal is probably exaggerating my overall war effort. But I encourage anybody who's interested in doing this. It's well worth it. And anybody wants to join me, I'm actually going back first week in September. So everybody's welcome to join me on the flight over there.
Thank you. Thanks for going and for doing this and for sharing. Shelley, we might as well do announcements now if you want. We'll usually do this before Kaddish, but come on up.
I'm the stand-in. Please join us for candles and kiddush in the Weiss lobby immediately following services. Shabbat morning study will meet tomorrow at 9:15 in the Cohen Library. Shabbat services next Friday evening will be at 5:30. Friday, July 12th at 5:30, please join Rabbi and Julie at their home for Shabbat services, followed by a potluck meal. Bring a dairy dish to share with everyone in attendance and your bathing suit. RSVP to the office, and if you don't know where they live, you'll get directions.
No sharing bathing.
Mark your calendars for our Beth Israel Beach services on Friday, July 19th and Friday, August 23rd at 5:30 on the Huntington Avenue Beach in Margate. Bring your own beach chair. And may I add that we're going to have a guest on August 23rd?
You may. Well,
We
not
are
a guest, but
He's not a guest. We have been very fortunate to hire 2 people. We have a cantor. His name is Marshall Portnoy. He is a wonderful man, very, very knowledgeable, and he will be joining us 3 out of 4 Shabbats a month. He is not able to do high holidays this year because he's got a commitment However, in the future, he will be doing high holidays for us, he's doing festivals, and we are so thrilled that he's joining our family. On the weeks that the cantor will not be here, we will have Deborah Waldorf, who, for those of you that were here in the 90s, remember Deborah. She actually was part of our religious school. She's going to be coming back one Shabbat a month. And so this is so exciting. We're just so happy that we're going to have our music, our soloist, and this is amazing. But the cantor is planning on coming down here on Fridays, meeting at about 3:30. Anybody that is interested in being in the choir, he wants to start an adult choir. So they will be meeting 3:30 on Fridays. The rabbi is going to advertise. Yes, you are.
I thought you were saying I'm going to be in the choir.
No, no,
Panic look on my face.
we love you, but no.
Yes, that's not my
Not
skill
you.
set.
So, but the rabbi will be advertising this in his future bulletins, because we're really excited. Maybe we can have a choir again.
And Linda or Linda and I will send an official announcement to the congregation
Yes.
within a couple of weeks.
And one other thing that Susan reminded me of, we're having our second annual Fall Festival, and it's September 22nd. And she informed me that many of you here tonight have already volunteered to come to the volunteer meeting. We really need people to help. It's July 9th. Please show up. I know, I'm looking at you two. What time, Susan, are we meeting?
6:30.
6:30,
For
but
the
there's,
volunteers.
but for the volunteers, but please come, we're having pizza. We want to talk about this. You'll get a rundown of everything that's happening that night, that afternoon. It's a Sunday. It was wonderful last year. It's even going to be bigger this year. More food trucks, more activities for the children. So thank you for those of you that have already committed to coming, and for those of you that haven't, I hope I make you feel guilty enough to please come. Okay? Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Have a great week.
Thank you. As we continue with Aleinu, the bottom of page 586, please rise. Aleinu l'shaber l'adon ha'kol, l'atei gdula liyoser b'reshit, shelo asanu k'koyei ha'aratzot, velo samanu k'mishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam k'almeinu kahen, v'dor aleinu k'chol hamonam, v'anachnu olim, u'mishtachavim u'modim, l'ifnei melech, malchei hamelachim, hakadosh baruch. 588, Shehu nofesh shamayim v'yosei haaretz, u'moshad l'karo b'shamayim hima'al, u'shchinatu zo, b'kovei Hu Eloheinu Eino, Emet Malkeinu Efesu Lato, Kakatu B'Torato, V'yadata hayom ha'ashevota el levavecha, ki Elohim b'shamayim yimal, ve'al haaretz mi'yitachat eino v'ne'emar, Haya Adonai lemelech al kol As is the custom of our congregation, should you feel comfortable doing so, should you choose to do so, we ask that you rise when we call the name of a loved one, so that you may know that we are here in mourning and in memory, and then we will, as is the tradition in most Reformed synagogues, rise as a congregation as a whole for Kaddish Yatom, for the mourners, Kaddish itself. I will add, since I am already standing up and you would not see me rise, that my grandmother, Gussie Schreiner's name is on the list for tonight. There are stars whose radiance is visible on this earth, though they have long since ceased to exist. There are people whose light and whose warmth continue to shine for us, though they are no longer among us. These stars which shine in the dark of the night, they light the way for humankind. We remember at this time those of our congregation's beloved whose yahrzeit occurs on this Shabbat. May Balin, Max Baltar, Renee Berman, Leonard Bernstein, David Blau, Horace Blitz, Gordon Brandis, Meyer Brody, Carolyn Kofsky, Lena Fisher, Rabbi Henry Fisher, Isaac Golf, Benjamin Green, Helen Green, Sarah Hirsch, Helen Katz, Ida Levine, Rose Love, Emmanuel Meyerhoff, Julia Meyerhoff, Rose Nathanson, Bryna Nichols, Charlotte Okino, Molly Rubin, Gussie Schreiner, Faye Schuler, Arthur Steinberg, Edward Stern, Samuel Sternberger, Rachel Stiggy, Simon Thatcher, Belle Weiss, Ronald Winterick, Martin Wood, Diana Rabinowitz-Yantis, Joseph William Yantis. During this period of Shloshim, the 30 days following their deaths, we mentioned Selma Portnoy, Dante de Castro, Mark Greenberg. The memories of all of our loved ones are with us. Our griefs and sympathies are mingled as we turn now to Kaddish Yatom, the mourners' Kaddish. Is there anybody else here to say Kaddish for a name I did not mention? Any others whose names?
My brother David Kaplan. My brother
David Kaplan. And we add the name Morris Pywanski. Any others? Page 598. Yitkadal v'yitkadash b'nei Rabbah, v'alma divrach Yerutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chaye chon v'yomei chon, uv'chaye d'chol Beit Yisrael, v'agava v'zman kariv imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah v'orach le'olam olmei olmaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitzpahar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei d'kudashah v'rechu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechumata, ta'amiran alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mramav, v'yaseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'al kol Shnei Tevel v'imru amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn, and comfort all the bereaved among us and wherever they may be, all those who are suffering the pain of loss everywhere, and together let us say. Page 626. Ein Keloheinu, Ein Kadoneinu, Ein Kemalkeinu, Ein Kemoshienu, Mi Keloheinu, Mi Kadoneinu, Mi Kemalkeinu, Mi Kemoshienu, Nodel Eloheinu, Nodel Shalom. And please join us for candles, kiddush, and motzi. Shabbat shalom, guys. Three. That's the third person. Yeah, he's coming to meet the congregation on the last Friday night of July. He's an honor center, he's done by holidays. No. Is it what? He's done performing high holiday services for the last few years at different congregations. Yeah.
Well, putting together a choir, is that higher too?
Okay.
Will we be able to do anything for the
That's
holidays?
a great question. I'll have to ask Garrett. Well, he's not going to be here for that.